so people can file in and.
There's one guy watching.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we're going.
Yep.
All right, folks, we're live with a special update of Tap Rack Bang. I'm Ryan Frasor. We got Tyler Witzke, and we have the Director of Policy for the National Foundation for Gun Rights, Ms. Hannah Hill, with some very exciting news. What happened today, Hannah?
Well, today the jury came back for Kyle Rittenhouse, and he was completely acquitted of all 5 felony charges.
Let's go.
I know. This is a great day for self-defense. It is impossible to overstate the impact of this verdict. Self-defense, for all of us really, was on trial this week in Kenosha and last week, and after several days of nerve-wracking jury deliberations, they came back with what we believe was the right verdict, and the evidence that was available from day one confirmed that that was the right verdict, because Kyle was completely innocent. He was acting in self-defense, defending himself from attackers, which the Second Amendment protects our right to do. So we are all celebrating here at NAGR and NAGR. We are just thrilled.
Absolutely.
And we also want to thank our members, because we are proud to serve gun owners who were not afraid to come to Kyle's defense on day one. After, we all saw the woke media narrative. We saw the prosecution, very political prosecution that was enacted against Kyle. And our members, they didn't back down. Y'all didn't back down. You came to Kyle's defense. You weren't afraid of being doxxed, or not doxxed, probably. Maybe some of them.
Canceled.
Yeah, canceled. I mean, cancel culture is real.
Yeah.
It's alive out there. We were faced with deplatforming simply for coordinating fundraising for Kyle. And we are just so thrilled and so proud of our members for coming to his defense. At this point, we have raised over $75,000 for Kyle's aid. $51,000 we contributed last year. Before the jury verdict, when all we had to go on was the facts and the evidence and the video that was available at the time, which again clearly showed what came out in the trial, that he was completely
Pretty
innocent.
obvious conclusion.
Right. To any right-thinking person, they see the video, they hear the arguments, and you're like, yeah, self-defense, clearly. But you got so many people on the left who say they're calling him white supremacist. Well,
No evidence.
No evidence of that, and it's awful. And here I got a headline from CNN already: Rittenhouse painted as hero by conservative media. They're going to continue with their narrative, attacking him for defending himself.
And so many people have gotten kicked off of Facebook or put in Facebook jail for coming to Kyle's assistance and speaking out in support of, the right to keep and bear arms to defend yourself from attackers. But that was not the politically correct thing to do, but our members stepped up to the plate anyway. Weren't afraid of the woke media narrative or the mob. And thanks in part to our assistance, Kyle has had resources to hire the best legal team out there, a team that represented him very well through the trial and did a great job fighting back the political persecution that was really an abuse of the justice system that we saw in Kenosha.
Right.
And of course, CNN is going to be saying their nonsense, but it's not just the left that's been super weak on this issue. I mean, you've kind of heard crickets from every other gun group and every other conservative group other than the National Foundation for Gun Rights. And that's under your directorship, Hannah, that made this possible. So I think you got more guts than most of the other, so-called right-wing groups out there.
It's been a real team effort. Everybody at NAGR and NFGR has stepped up to the plate, and we couldn't do it without our members. It was our members who overwhelmingly stepped up to support Kyle from day one. And we are just so proud to be a part of a movement that is not intimidated by the mob, no matter what. So we're thrilled today for Kyle's news.
If you gave, if you donated, or if you kept Kyle Rittenhouse in your prayers through this ordeal, which I can only imagine from a 17, 18-year-old kid like that, has just been incredibly daunting on him. Thank you for your support and your generosity. It meant the world.
And just imagine if, the foundation wasn't there, if these gun rights supporters weren't there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Can you imagine the loneliness and how scared he would be? We know he was scared, and I'm sure at times felt lonely here, but it would be so much worse if it weren't for you guys and the foundation as well.
And we should also remember the courage that it took the jury to come to this verdict, right? I've served on a jury before for a murder trial. That was a very low profile murder. And that was an unreal experience, just the level of pressure that you feel when you hold someone's life in your hands. And they were facing, attempts to uncover their identities. They were facing threats. I mean, they expressed fear before they were ever even selected for jury service. And yet they had the courage to take the time they needed to look at the facts, to look at the law, and to acquit Kyle on all 5 felony charges.
Despite MSNBC trying to follow them home and give away their identities,
and
they did the right thing.
Jury duty is a service. It's a public service. It's part of what makes us a free country. And they just really stepped up to the plate. Along those lines, there is one thing I want to drive home while we're having a moment of celebration for a self-defense case that turned out well. Kyle's prosecution happened under the watch of an elected official, the Kenosha County District Attorney. He's not the one he delegated that to one of his assistant district attorneys, but it all happened under his watch. District attorney races are something that Second Amendment supporters often overlook until it's too late. But if you're concerned about whether you would be protected, should you be involved in a self-defense situation where you have to use your gun, do you know whether your district attorney would see that as self-defense if the facts were obvious, or whether or not he would be prosecuting you just because he hates guns? When your district attorney candidates come around asking for your votes, there are some questions that Second Amendment supporters need to be asking those guys.
Yeah, that's an outstanding point. I mean, we're always talking about tying the legislative season to the election season, and from the judicial side, that's equally as important. And,
it really is. It couldn't be more important. A trial like that, it's local. The prosecutor is local. He works for the people. He's accountable to the people. The jury is also local. So this is why, they may face national pressure, but it's important that you be active and that you speak up and that you be engaged on behalf of the Second Amendment in your own community, because that's who's going to.
You can make such a big difference on those small level elections.
100%.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. Well, maybe we wrap things up here, but I want to say thank you, Hannah Hill. This has been a year-long project, and you've rocked it.
Yes,
and
it has.
We just saw the joy in your eye when we found out that verdict, and it's been exciting to see you kick so much ass this year.
Thank you. It's I can't express what a privilege it has been. This is what keeps us going. It's fighting for constitutional rights, and like I said, it was you guys too. Everybody at NAGR and the legal wing have stepped up to the plate to make this happen. And again, thank you to our members, because we are here, honestly, as your servants. We are here to help protect your rights and to take your resources and use them for things like Kyle's defense. So thank you so much for standing with us in support of the Second Amendment.
Thank you.
Thank you.